Hello and welcome to MD TV for a powerful, practical insight that will take your team further and faster. Right now we're considering the issue why goal setting doesn't work and how you can fix it. Now, of all the questions that you ask when it comes to defining a goal, probably the most important is, how will we know we've succeeded? Peter Drucker's famous for saying, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. And there's been all sorts of debate about whether that's true or whether that's not, and all sorts of people saying, not everything that matters can be measured and not everything that can be measured matters. And it's true, you could have a really useful debate about the topic, but it's also really surprising what you can actually put a measure to. And the point I want to make this time is when you can create that measure, it can give you a significant amount of momentum that you didn't have before. Now some goals, this is very easy to do. It's the gold standard is from X to Y by when. If you can get that, you're at the ultimate point. It's a really, really powerful place to be. And even when it's not immediately apparent, you can still find ways to get to that point. So give it some thought, and if you can get to from X to Y by when, then you've nailed it in a really, really helpful and clear way, compelling way. Secondly, though, another way to look at this is if you've defined a clear context, how you can actually perhaps use feedback to get a perspective on where you've actually reached. So take the example we looked at in a previous session about a leader who wanted to become a better listener. When they put clear context on it, they recognise what they wanted is to be able to listen carefully in team meetings, their weekly team meetings, so they could really understand what was being said. So once you put context around that, it's actually quite easy to measure. So they could choose 3 people from within their team who would give them clear and honest feedback. And they asked them to work with a scale of 1 to 10. If 1 is, there's no point in me opening my mouth because you're not going to listen to anything that I say, and 10 is, everything I say is valued and it's really worth contributing to the team meeting. Where am I on a scale of 1 to 10? And suddenly you've got a very clear measure that you can actually put in place. So take the time to think about what that could actually be. You've defined your end products. That's a critical stage that we've talked about earlier. What's the measure that you've got for success for each of the end products that you've defined? What does that actually look like? How will you know? Now, some are hard to measure, like a changing culture, and we'll talk about that next time. Actually, there's things that you can do. But so many of them are easier to measure than you can possibly realize if you give it the time and attention. So well worth doing, because too many goals fail to get any real traction. Watching these videos and my forthcoming seminar, Clarity is Power, means that doesn't have to apply to you and your team. See you next time.